My name is Moon Petrie, and I want to start by saying thank you to Margaret Pinard. I did not know that this tag existed. I guess it is mostly in booktube spaces, and I'm mostly in authortube spaces. I saw Margaret doing it live the other day, and I really wanted to participate. The tag was originally by Leo Bancroft. I will be leaving a link to the original tag in the description, along with the questions if you would like to do the tag, and all of the books, authors, creators, etc. that I mention as well. Question 1. Tag some fabulous friends who may want to do this tag and stand with trans kids. I will be tagging Joey Paul, Barrett Laurie, Matilda at the Nerdy Book Nerd, and Marcus at writer Marcus Regius. Of course, if you are not one of those people and you feel moved to do this tag, please do. The more of us standing with trans kids, the better. Question 2. Tell us about some books on your TBR pile featuring a trans or non-binary character, or nonfiction books about trans or non-binary stuff. I am about to start reading Becoming Nicole by Amy Ellis Nutt. It is nonfiction and about Nicole Maines, who is a trans activist and actress. I don't know much about it, but it is critically acclaimed, so I'm looking forward to it. The Fae Keeper by H.E. Edgman. I read the first book in the series, which was The Witch King, and it was spectacular, so I'm really looking forward to the sequel. And third, no, this is a harder to track down book, possibly. It's called Trans Affirming Magical Care, and I've been wanting to read it because it is essentially a Harry Potter graphic fanzine by trans and queer creators. I ran across it because one of the contributors is Damian Alexander, whose debut graphic memoir came out, Other Boys, just this past year and was so great. He is also the boyfriend of Kevin the Writer, who you may know from AuthorTube. Question 3. Recommend a favorite book, show, movie featuring a trans or non-binary character. I don't watch enough TV or movies. I watch a lot of movie trailers because it's easier to come up with 2 minutes than 2 hours. But I have more books than I could possibly stick a shake at, as they say. Do they say that? So I just wanted to use this moment to mention some, because of question later about trans and non-binary authors, I wanted to use this as a time to mention non-trans authors writing trans characters and doing a beautiful job of it. So Zenobia July by Lisa Bunker, which so beautiful. It's like if you could imagine anything better than, abused trans kid gets adopted by a pair of queer aunties, like, I don't know what you're imagining. Please put it in the comments if you can think of anything better than that. And is so gorgeous. So, it's not perfect, it's not just a utopia, but it shows what's possible when a kid who has not been getting what they need suddenly has some love and support. Strongly recommend. And then Gracefully Grayson by Amy Polanski. Both of these I might want to mention are middle grade. So Grayson doesn't have as much. It's sort of in between. Zenobia went from abuse to total support, and Grayson's situation is somewhere in between the two. And maybe a little bit more along the lines of what a lot of kids experience. And it was lovely. And then I will mention again, although probably lots of people are, I know that Margaret did when she did the tag, but Blood Like Magic by Lizelle Sambury. The main character is not trans, but there is a significant trans character, a couple of significant trans characters, so it's not just all, and a non-binary character, as I recall, so it's not one character has to carry the weight of all representation for their demographic, but a variety of representations that are well-developed, grounded, meaningful characters that you care about a lot. And if you haven't read Blood Like Magic, now is the time, because Blood Like Fate is coming out in about 2 months. I'm very excited for that. Question 4. Everyone has their own journey and no one demographic is a monolith. Recommend a book with a journey, however you define that. So I'm coming at this tag from a parenting perspective, and I don't intend to speak for all parents of trans, non-binary, or gender non-conforming kids, but that is the angle that I'm coming at it from, as it is part of my family. And so I would like to mention How to Be a Girl by Marlo Mack. It is from the perspective of a mom of a trans girl. And while the daughter's journey is, of course, reflected in the book, it is from the mom's perspective and mostly about her journey of learning, discovering, coming to terms with, and getting into a space where she can be extremely supportive for her kid. She also has a podcast that I believe has the same title. Question 5. None of us knows everything, even about our own identities, especially since we're not a monolith and each have our own journey. What is a book that taught you something either about yourself or the world around you? So, thing that I sometimes realize when I find a book that like kind of cracks me open is sort of how clamped down, how shut down I can be, and just very sort of stuck in my ways, stuck in my perspective and stuff. And so for me, it is those books that do the cracking open that matter the most. And I was thinking that Leonard Cohen line there, cracks in everything, that's how the light gets in. So for me, it's things that let the light in, that help me to see myself where I am, or how far I am from where I need to be, a little more clearly. And that has been many things over the years. I first thought of Sark, who wrote, Succulent Wild Woman, Eat Mangoes Naked, Inspiration Sandwich, Transformation Soup, Change Your Life Without Getting Out of Bed. Books like that I discovered as a young teenager. You might find them in the self-help section. They are just really inspirational and fun. You could get a fresh perspective, think about making change without feeling chastised or anything, but just, oh my God, a garter snake just slithered across my feet. Wow, wildlife encounter. So, yeah, sometimes when books want you to like change, it feels like an attack and just shuts me down more. Sark is not like that. Just very much open you up. Make it sound like fun and relaxation, not a painful assignment, worse than cleaning out your closet. I also think of Francesca Leah Block. I adored her Dangerous Angels series, which starts with Weezy Bat. They're teeny tiny little books, so amazing. And they really cracked me open as a teenager, and they're also just gorgeously written. So if you're into reading or writing at all, which you must be if you're here, I can't recommend her books highly enough. She also has a book that is nonfiction about writing, but like about life as a writer, and it is called The Thorn Necklace, and so that is a really beautiful book also. And then, as you'll see from like my favorite music, which I will mention later in this tag, I tend to get like very again, this is me in a rut, not finding new favorites very often. Last year I discovered TJ Klune, who is amazing and who just shatters me in all the best ways. The House on the Cerulean Sea was the first of his books that I read. I definitely loved it. I loved it a lot. I thought at the time it was the best thing I was going to read all year. I cried halfway through when I realized there were no more than 5 stars on Goodreads that I could give it, and it had to be in the pile with all the other things that had gotten 5 stars. There's no way I could elevate it above that level. So you wouldn't think I'd find a better book, but The Extraordinaries and its sequel, Flash Fire, I don't even have words. I don't even think I wrote a very good review on Goodreads. These books are so stunning. And again, read them now because the 3rd book in the series, Heatwave, comes out this summer. I think July. Question 6. When things are hard in the world or in our lives, sometimes there are things we can do to help center and refocus ourselves, to bring joy, to keep us going, to keep living, resisting, being our authentically amazing selves. What are things you do to center yourself or find joy? Mostly, it's realize that I've been rushing and slow down. So whatever that is, take a walk, sit down, sit in the grass, make a cup of tea, really be with my kids with what they are doing rather than trying to get them to do what I think needs to get done. And that takes sacrifice. That takes, saying, I'm just gonna heat up something frozen and not cook dinner. Or, you know what? I don't care about the cracker crumbs all over the floor. I'll deal with it another time. I'm trying to remember which Anne Lamott book I got this from, but there was something about tennis and stuff flying at you, right? Not just random stuff, obviously, tennis balls, but this, like, you can be like reacting like it's coming at you too fast and you have to deal with it so fast. But there can be a way of looking at it there isn't actually any more time, but a way of seeing the time that there is and feeling a little space around things. So whatever I can do to try to find that feeling, that is what I do. Question number 7, what is your walk-on music or your feel at home in your body music? So my favorite song of all time is from a long time ago, and it is I Can't Quit You Baby by Led Zeppelin, and it is on YouTube, Led Zeppelin official whatever, Vivo or something. You can listen to it. I've put a link to it below. It's on Led Zeppelin's first album, which came out in 68, 69, and it is the most gorgeous thing ever. Again, with the, needing to be cracked open and this really doing the trick. So that is my song. That is my favorite song. Led Zeppelin is my favorite band. You see that I've maybe not updated that in a while. My second favorite band is Metallica, and I find it actually very relaxing to let Lars drum like crazy and to have somebody else expressing that stuff and not have to hold it in me, to just sort of let it flow through. So I know sometimes people think of metal as like angry music, or you listen to it when you're angry, it makes you feel angry or things like that. I find it super relaxing. And I should mention that Led Zeppelin and Metallica are my favorite bands because I think of the Beatles as a cultural phenomenon and not just a band. Question 8. Finding mentors, people of wisdom, or heroes can be another way to help us navigate life. Who are some of your mentors? Can you share something they taught you or inspired you to learn more about? So I just want to say that people who are in your path but have been walking it for longer are the best people that you could possibly learn from. I have a group that I attend virtually, a transparent group, and I have learned so much, and not just about facts and things you need to learn, but just by witnessing where they're at, learn about grace from them, and just seeing people show up for their kids is so beautiful. And so huge shout out anonymously to all of them. I did also mention Anne Lamott, and I am going to drop a link, not to any specific book, but to the Goodreads page of Anne Lamott quotes. And if you can read just like the first page of Anne Lamott quotes and not be desperate to read something by Anne Lamott, I would be shocked. I would be so shocked. And so you can learn a little something lovely from her. And she does write fiction. She has several novels, but she also amazingly writes nonfiction about writing and about faith and about her journey with addiction and parenthood and all kinds of, gritty, beautiful things. And she doesn't doll it up, but she is both the most poignant, like most touching, relatable person, as well as being incredibly hilarious. She's the person you wish was your best friend that you could call when you're down. Question 9. Who are some out trans and non-binary booktubers, Instagrammers, authors, actors, etc. who you'd like to shout out? I'm going to shout out author-tubers writer Marcus Regius and Charlie Dorset. Old school YouTuber from before he was out or transitioning or even an author, Jackson Bird, who is also the author of Sorted, which is a gorgeous book about his journey, his transition. But I was subscribed to him back in the day just for the Will It Waffle videos, in which he puts things you should totally not put in a waffle iron in a waffle iron. Kids love it. I love it too. Fiction authors, I will mention Alex Gino, Aidan Thomas, and Kason Callender, and nonfiction authors Meg John Barker and Alok Vaid-Menon. Again, all of these names will be listed in the description. And question 10, what are some organizations you'd like to shout out for supporting trans kids and trans folks? So I'm in Vermont, if you did not know that, where it is gorgeous summer right now, but this is not usually green, this is mostly snow. And so the organization that I love so much is Outright Vermont. I attended their Friday night group long ago as a queer teenager. It is still going on today, and they are the ones who host the transparent group I belong to. Had to give you a little taste of these gorgeous roses. Until next time, I am Moon Petrie. Please remember, kids are seriously at risk. Laws are being put into place that deny kids health care and threaten to separate kids from their families and prevent kids from playing sports with their friends and using bathrooms. And they're just kids. Like, let kids be kids. So I would love to know if you would like to do this tag. If you have done this tag, please let me know in the comments so I can go and check yours out.